Good morning, friends. This is my second video on good governance. This is in connection with the Good Governance Day, the Good Governance Week that's being observed by the state and the central governments. Of course, it's in the memory of our late beloved Prime Minister Sri Atal Bihari Vajpayee. See, before understanding what is good governance, we should try to know what is governance. See, governance, it is the process of governing the people in the context of a government, and in the context of an organization, it is the process of governing the employees. So, in other words, it is the mechanism that the government adopts for taking care of the interests of the citizens. And this process of governance, it consists of several activities. It's a bundle of activities, policy making and implementation. So when I say it is the process of policy making and implementation, the management also comes into picture. And management again itself is not a single activity. It consists of planning, organizing, controlling, coordinating, and also the attitude of the managers also matters. So the government's activities, they are regulated by the law of the land, what we call as constitution. So the entire process of government's governing, it has to move within the framework of the constitution. It should be well within the provisions, the rules and regulations made thereunder. So good governance actually comes into play in the area of framing policies and in the area of the efficiency that is demonstrated by a government in implementing the policies. The rest of the things are all defined in the constitution itself. And the constitution, it is the fundamental law of the country. It defines the nature of the government, nature of the political life of the government. The constitution also regulates the working of the government. It describes the organs, powers and functions of the government. Constitution also specifies the rights, what we call the fundamental rights and the duties of the citizens. So any law, any rule or any procedure framed by government which is not within the framework of the constitution, it becomes invalid. Friends, coming to the constitution, it's the written constitution, lengthiest constitution in the world, and it has also undergone so many amendments, more than 100 amendments so far, depending on the requirements uh, of the people of the state or the government from time to time. It has 448 articles, 25 parts, and 12 schedules as of January 2020. See, it has a beautiful preamble. It narrates the ideals and aspirations of the Indian citizens, Indian people, the justice, liberty, equality, individual dignity, fraternity, and the national unity. They are the ideals stated in the preamble of our constitution. And the aim of the constitution is to establish a welfare state. So it upholds the social and economic justice and the individual liberty. It assures equal opportunities and protection to all the citizens. And it is a republic. India is a republic, that is, people themselves rule. It upholds a form of government which is of the people, by the people, for the people. Hence, it is a democratic republic. So, the Constitution has provided fundamental rights to the citizens of the country, the right to equality, the right to particular freedom, right against exploitation, the right to freedom of religion, cultural and educational rights, the right to constitutional remedies, etc. And at the same time, the Constitution also has provided for certain fundamental duties to be obliged by the citizens of the country. See, the fundamental duties, they cannot be questioned in a court of law, whereas non-enforcement of the fundamental rights can always be questioned in a court of law. But the fundamental rights and duties, they are like two faces of the same coin. These are the obligations of the citizens towards the country. So unless you discharge your duties, fundamental duties or the moral duties, you have no moral right to demand for the enforcement of the fundamental rights. See, the fundamental duties or to respect our constitution, our national flag, national anthem, to follow the noble ideals which inspired our national struggle for freedom, to protect the integrity of India, to defend our motherland, to promote the spirit of common brotherhood, to preserve our rich heritage, to protect and improve the natural environment, to develop the scientific temper and the spirit of inquiry, to safeguard, more importantly, the public property, and to strive towards excellence in all spheres of individual and collective activities. So these are the moral duties which we are obliged to follow. And similarly, the government also has to follow certain moral obligations. They are given in the form of directive principles of state policy. So these are the directions to the state, but these cannot be enforced in a court of law. So this is exactly the area where the governments can differ in framing their policies and providing different benefits to the citizens and to prove themselves different from the other governments. Say they are the social justice to the weaker section of the society, the women and children welfare, the labor welfare. Similarly, they help to the needy, uniform civil code, prohibition, prevention of, the slaughter of cattle, development of agriculture, the protection of environment, protection and maintenance of places of historic interest, the promotion of international peace and the amity, etc. These are some of the important directive principles of the state policy. So first we will see the example of an organization and then we will go to the governance of a government. See, coming to any organization can be of different forms. It can be a proprietorship, a partnership, a limited liability partnership, a private limited company, a one person company, an autonomous body, public sector undertaking, or a regular department of the government and all. But whatever is the nature of the organization, they all come into existence with certain defined objectives. And the people serving these organizations, they always want job satisfaction. So the organizations have to provide the employees working for them the job satisfaction. So the most important factors that are conducive to job satisfaction are one, security, the job security, career growth, good environment, good administration. Similarly, the mentally challenging work, equitable rewards, the supportive working conditions, supportive colleagues, the social responsibility, and so on. So if the organization is able to provide these things to the citizens, then we can say the governance of the organization is good. It amounts to good governance. But when the The employees of the organization expect a good governance from the organization. It can be a government department also. They also have certain moral obligations to be discharged. They are given in the form of do's and don'ts as a part of the conduct rules. So you have to maintain absolute integrity at all times, absolute devotion to duty at all times. You have to be impartial in your dealings with the public. You have to maintain a decent standard of conduct in private life, render prompt and courteous services to the public, observe proper decorum during the office hours. You have to maintain political neutrality, and you should not be discourteous or dishonest. You cannot be partial in your dealings with the public. You should not get involved in unauthorized communications. So no lavish hospitality should be accepted, frequent and lavish hospitality from the officials, from the people having official dealings. So these also are some of the do's and don'ts for the employees of the organization. So when these two faces come together, it forms a good coin. And coming to government and the functions of the government, the most important function of the government is ensuring the smooth functioning of the administration, framing the policies, specific policies of the government, preparing the budget, drafting the bills that are to be placed in the parliament, similarly formulating the foreign policy, suggesting the amendments to the constitution, and all these are the major functions of the government. So coming to good governance, it is good governance, then working for the welfare of the poor and making provision for the basic facilities for the citizens, facilitating the middle class, empowering the women, the weaker groups, making them self-reliant by providing social safety, social justice, and adequate government support, implementing the pro-farmer policies, similarly creating educational and job opportunities for the youth, encouraging the politics of development, and ending the politics of discrimination and corruption. So then only it leads to national security, economic growth, and developing every region of India. And there should be ensured internal and the border security. You have to increase the exports and the efficiency in public services delivery, and in the implementation of government schemes and infrastructure projects on time with stiff targets. And the government also should develop the visionary leadership. So across many areas of governance and policy making, not only in politics, it may be in science and technology, administration, contracts management, so in art, architecture. So in all these areas, the government should, facilitate developing the visionary leadership. Similarly, development of the environment, promoting India's rich civilizational heritage and values. So these are some of the things which the government has to take up if it has to provide good governance. And our Prime Minister also very often emphasizes on certain points. So which are the points of his government and his policy. So he says that good governance is the key to a nation's progress. Government should be committed to providing transparent and the accountable administration which works for the welfare of the common citizens. He says citizen first, that should be the motto and guiding principle. Government should be brought closer to our citizens and made active participants in the governance process. Simplification of procedures and processes in the government and doing away with the cumbersome and outdated delegations, outdated legislations is also his priority. And he has also, given effect to this to a larger extent. Then redressal of public grievances should receive the highest priority. So every officer holding a key role or every minister holding a key role. So when people come to them with the problems, with real problems, when the problems are genuine, so he should immediately try to redress them. So address them and provide a solution. And the Prime Minister further says that technology must bridge the gap between the government and the citizens. So Digital India, it aims to, when we come to technology, the Digital India, it aims to transform the country into a digitally empowered society and knowledge base. See, governance per se, it has become very complex nowadays because there is an increase in the activities due to the increase in citizens' expectations of the government. Therefore, e-governance, it is assuming importance these days. It is the application of information and the communication technology, ICT, what we call, for providing the government services, for the exchange of information, for the government transactions, integration of previously existing services and information portals. And here e-governance, when you say E stands for electronic. So the e-governance, it improves the ability of the government to address the needs of the society by publishing of the policy and program related information to transact with the citizens. And it also enables the use of information technology for strategic planning and attaining of the developmental goals of the government. And the main emphasis of this e-governance is on bringing transparency, accountability, and participation of people in the activities of the government. It includes the online disclosure of policies, online grievances redressal, the e-referendums, etc., etc. See, the e-governance, it originated in India with a focus on in-house government applications, mainly in the areas of the defense, economic monitoring, planning and development of the ICT to manage the data-intensive functions related to the elections, the census, tax administration, etc. So that's how it gained importance and came into existence. So the establishment of the separate department of electronics, it was the first major step towards e-governance, and also the National Informatics Center, NIC. So the main thrust for e-governance, it was provided by the launching of NICNET in 1987. That is the National Satellite-Based Computer Network. And it is getting improved over a period of time. So the objectives of e-governance is better service delivery to the citizens, the enhanced transparency and accountability, empowering the people through information, improve the efficiency within the government, that is between the center and the state or interstates, improve the interface with the business and industry, the expanded reach of governance, improved public administration, the economic development, improved service delivery, better access to the information and quality services to the citizens. These are the objectives of e-governance. Then who are the pillars of this e-governance? It is people, process, technology, and the resources. And coming to the types of interaction in e-governance, so there is what is called as the G2G, that is government to government, G2C, the government to the citizen, G2B, that is government to business governance, and G2E, that is government to the employees. So the different connotations of this e-governance are the e-administration, e-services, e-democracy, etc., etc. So coming to e-administration, it is to modernize the government, say the state, by the creation of data and providing the computerization of MIS information by the computerization of the records pertaining to land, health, etc. And e-services, it is to make provision of online services. So this e-administration and e-services together, it constitutes what is largely termed as e-government. And e-democracy, the use of information technology to enable all sections of the society to participate in the governance of the state. So that is the objective of e-democracy. So it includes the online disclosures of policies, online grievance redressal, e-referendums, etc. And the government and governments have taken, these central and state governments, they have taken so many initiatives for the e-governance in India. For example, the Bhumi project, Karnataka, pertaining to the online delivery of land records. So this Bhumi is a self-sustainable e-governance project for the computerized delivery of, I think, 20 million rural land records to 6.7 million farmers of Karnataka. Similarly, Khajane, it's end-to-end automation of the government register system in Karnataka. The e-Seva, so it is designed to provide the government to citizen and e-business to citizen services. Similarly, the e-codes, e-district, MCA 21. So that is the program launched by the Ministry of Corporate Affairs. So various online facilities offered under this scheme includes the allocation and change of name, incorporation, online payment of the registration charges, the change in the address of the registered office, viewing of the public records and other related services. So similarly, the e-office, etc. So e-office, it was launched by the Department of Administrative Reforms and Public Grievances. So the aim of this project is to significantly improve the operational efficiency of the government by transforming it to a less paper office. And Karnataka government, the higher education department, has very recently launched a new portal to address the grievances of the staff and the retired staff of the department also. So this new portal would serve as a platform to resolve many issues, including the pension, promotion, placement, transfer, etc., of the officials of polytechnics, first year colleges, engineering colleges, and so on. So friends, even Digital India, coming to the Digital India initiatives, it's an umbrella program to prepare India for a knowledge-based transformation, launched by the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology. So the objectives of this are digital empowerment of the citizens, various schemes under Digital India initiatives are the My Governance, aiming to establish a link between the government and the citizens, the DigiLocker, which serves as a platform to enable the citizens to securely store and share their documents with service providers electronically, the e-hospital online, providing for online registration, National Scholarship Portal NSP. So it provides a centralized platform for the application and disbursement of the scholarship to the students. Similarly, the Darpan, Pragati, like this, the common services centers, mobile seva, for example, the government services, it provides to the people through mobile phones. And also very important program is Praman. It's an Aadhaar-based biometric authentication system for the pensioners without a necessity of the pensioner being present in person before his pension disbursing authority, the PDA, the National Center for Geoinformatics, National E-Governance Plan. So like this, so many schemes have come up. And the E-Kranti, see, it's an essential pillar of the Digital India initiative. It was approved way back in 2015. So with the vision of transforming the e-governance, there are about 44 mission mode projects under E-Kranti, which are at various stages of implementation. So like e-education, the PMG Disha, Swayam, e-healthcare, farmers scheme, security, cyber security, and so on. And friends, the cloud computing, it is also becoming a big force to enhance the delivery of services related to e-governance. So it is nowadays a tool for the cost reduction, enabling new services, improving the education system, and creating the new jobs and opportunities. And what we require today is e-governance through regional languages. So it would be appreciable for the nation like India with several linguistic backgrounds. And there are also some very serious challenges to e-governance. They are the lack of basic infrastructural facilities like the electricity, internet, also the cost, e-privacy and security. E-governance projects must have the security standards for safeguarding the interest of all classes of masses. So huge gap is there between the users and the non-users of e-government, and this gap also we should bridge. We should bring down the gap. So friends, let me conclude by saying that e-governance is getting momentum in India, but public awareness and the digital divide. So they are the important issues to be addressed. The success of e-governance, it measures largely, its measure also largely depends on the availability of high-speed internet and the nationwide uh, rollout of this 5G technology in the near future. It will definitely strengthen our resolve. And we know the states have a very key role in the growth and development of the country. So, in the spirit of cooperative federalism, the Government of India, DARPG, that is the Department of Administrative Reforms and Public Grievances, they have developed an index to gauge, to measure the governance across the states and rank them in areas of essential services by collecting data from the Census of India, agricultural census, the studies of Reserve Bank of India, the MIS maintained by the central ministries, the National Family Health Survey, National Crime Record Bureau, etc. So this provides the information for the state governments, also to the central government to act on and improve upon the areas where they really, are not very good. Their performance is not very good. They will have to act and they have to improve. And this would also provide some insights to the central ministries and departments. And of course, for this purpose, they have also categorized these areas or the states into three categories, namely the northeast and the hill states, union territories, and the remaining states. So this is all in the short time provided to me. I wanted to explain this to you to the extent possible. So thank you very much, friends. Thank you very much.